Tonight on Our News Weekend, unfazed, the Way Forward Valley Boys group says it expects to rush as an A category group this Junkanoo season, despite the JCNP saying otherwise. Plus, defending his record, Prime Minister Philip Davis says he's done everything possible as Member of Parliament for Cat Island, despite criticism over infrastructural needs. And later, Soulful Sundays are back at the Nassau Cruise Port with a hot new lineup. We'll tell you what you can expect. Our News, the Weekend Edition, starts right now. Welcome to Our News, the Weekend Edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. The decision to place the Way Forward Valley Boys Junkanoo group led by Trevor Davis in the F Division, not phasing members who say they expect that to change by the time they hit Bay this Boxing Day. Group members telling us their only goal is to have a democratic and fair election.
If they could go and we can't go, nobody go in because we's the Valley Boys. That's all I gotta say.
That sentiment shared by members of the Way Forward Valley Boys faction after the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence announced the group will be rushing in the F category for both Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades. The standoff continues amid long-standing tension between this faction and another within the Valley Boys. Even with the JCNP's decision, Interim Executive Board member Herbert Bain says he's confident the group led by Trevor Davis will rush in the A category.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. And we trust in on the law of the Bahamas. We trust in on common sense. We trust in that our fans will be out there in full support of us, and that justice will prevail. Because at the end of the day, that's all we're seeking: justice. Here it is. You have a group who had a previous management team that they lost faith in for various reasons. And we simply do not believe that they should be allowed to continue to be imposters utilizing the name of the Valley Boys.
Members of both the Way Forward and the world-famous Valley Boys faction claim they represent the original group. According to former chairman Michael Foster, the issue is a long overdue election with repeated delays over the years. He says their mission now is to set things right.
This had been going on for years. And you know, the old trick in the game that we always knew we were being tricked with is we get notice that we're going to have an election, and it drags on through the year, and before you know it, it's July and August. And then we somehow fall for the folly that, okay, you know something? It's too late. We can deal with this next year. And that's been happening since Gus Cooper was alive.
Bain says they plan to hold elections in February and believe 80% of members support them. Executive team member Nathaniel Benaby encourages fans to stay strong.
I'm just here to encourage everybody, stay the course. We have all of the documentation. We have the law behind us. Nobody is above the law. And trust you me, we will be on Bay Street. The naysayers, they're only upset because they can't go. We are here today. We represent you all. We put you all on our box. And we're going to make sure that what we said and what we say we're going to do, we will do.
Prime Minister Philip Davis is defending his record in his constituency tonight, asserting he has done everything within his power over the years he served. His comments came during a contract signing earlier this week between the Water and Sewage Corporation and Consolidated Water Bahamas Limited. The new agreement will bring 2 desalination plants to Bennett Harbor and New Bight Cat Island. When questioned about criticisms that he has not done enough for the island despite representing them in Parliament for decades, the Prime Minister responded this way.
How many times I was in the position to do what I could do. I was in opposition more than I was in government as representative of Cat Island. I could indicate everything I started in Cat Island, and as soon as we lost, they stopped. For example, the same water program that was started in 2016. We were able to arrange an $80 million loan from the Caribbean Development Bank for Family Island water improvements. This was one of them. They stopped it.
The Prime Minister expressed hope that politics will not obstruct benefits for taxpayers in the future.
For me and for the Progressive Party, the one thing, we don't have a policy of stop, review, and cancel. Unless there's something egregious about a project, and if what I call the IRR, the internal rate of return on what is being invested, it does not meet the needs of the community, we may look at it, but we do not employ this principle of stop, review, and cancel. That's a policy of the other party, and I just hope they'll move away from that. I'm just now re-engaging the National Development Plan to see whether we could get them to sign on to a development plan that you could hold them to as opposed to. But I can't speak for them.
Well, National Security Minister Wayne Munro has challenged the opposition to move beyond criticism and collaborate on solutions to the country's crime problem. Munro's remarks come in response to Free National Movement Shadow Minister Shannon Don Cartwright, who criticized the government for inadequate measures following the recent shooting of a man in front of his family.
We could sit down and run on with all this foolishness they're running on with as we watch young boys on the street matriculate into these gangs, so we could stop talking foolishness and do something about that. Because when he picks up a gun, when he gets to gang banging, it's difficult for him to get out, otherwise than dead or in prison. So we have to take seriously stopping these young boys joining the gang. My comment to them would be, stop talking so much and get to be a part of the solution by doing more, by encouraging people to do more.
Still on the defense, Munro says solving crime is not only a police issue, but a collective effort.
Everyone in the region and the world recognizes violent crime as a public health issue. So it's like a cancer. When you have cancer, saying that you have cancer doesn't cause it to go away. You have to seek to cut out the bad parts, isolate them. You also have to stop other cells becoming cancerous. So you have to stop people joining these organizations. All of this is a collective effort. So one is identifying the bad actors. That's not just limited to the police. The opposition spokesman who is saying this, he has an obligation, if he knows of anything, to tell the police. All of us have an obligation to do that. Then all of us have an obligation.
The Inter-American Development Bank is focusing on the Bahamas' efforts to become more climate resilient, according to IDB Caribbean Country Department General Manager Anton Edmonds. The Bahamas, like many small island developing states, faces the devastating impacts of climate change. And Edmonds highlights how the Bahamas has been a leader in the Caribbean in addressing climate resilience issues.
For us working in the Bahamas, we've looked very, very closely at the resilience issue and building up more capacity, making sure that the Bahamas can rebound much more quickly from, unfortunately, the climatic events that we all face. So the Bahamas, in terms of our pipeline for the Bahamas, is very much focused, continues to focus in that particular space. We have supported the Bahamas in the energy space as well, in terms of legislation. I think you've recently launched a new ministry in that particular space, and that's an area that we're very much responsive to the desires of the government and the people of the Bahamas.
Edmonds' comments come on the sidelines of the REDECA's third annual meeting at Bahamas this week. The abbreviation REDECA refers to a network of circular economies in agriculture that is concerned about several environmental problems, including the discharge of industrial wastewater, pollution, and economic sustainability of agriculture, among other things. He said the event is critical to supplying support loans for the government to develop and implement initiatives that will get positive results for its people.
Events like this, which really allow us to share how we monitor and evaluate the activities that we're involved in, absolutely critical. We need to learn from each other and ultimately be accountable. And having entities like this, or sort of organizations like this, or relationships like this, where we're sharing best practices and we're challenging ourselves to do better, it's a no-brainer in many respects.
2 weeks into the new school year, a senior police officer is urging parents to ensure their children are getting to school on time and not wasting time at barbershops or other businesses during school hours. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chaswell Hanna reports that the first 2 weeks of the new school year have gone fairly well. However, the problem of students being late due to these unsanctioned hangouts was raised by education officials last year. Hanna assures that school resource officers are working to put a stop to it.
We are going to be looking at these barbershops and any establishment that, allow these school children to be in their businesses during school hours, because under the Education Act, that is an offense, and it could be grounds to have your license revoked. We know everybody wants to make a living, but you have to do it within the framework of the law. Okay, but for the most part, everything is moving good with the schools. We want to encourage parents. Check your children's school bags before they leave for school, and when they come home, you'll be surprised to know what you see. It may not be anything that impacts safety, but it may be something that you would want to be aware your child is involved.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, 5 Bahamian students get $50,000 scholarships. And we'll tell you how the Rotary Club of Old Fort Bay transformed a local primary school into a smart school. That's coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
A record 5 Bahamians are set to pursue their master's degree in the United Kingdom this year, thanks to Chevening scholarships. Each scholarship is valued at approximately $50,000, covering tuition, flights, food, and accommodations. Support from BHM, the Hayward Foundation, and Blue Action Lab has made it possible to increase the number of scholarships. British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley says education has been a top priority and says the Chevening Scholars receptions is the happiest day of the year for the High Commission.
This is our 5th anniversary of the High Commission being reopened, and to celebrate that, we've got 5 scholars this year going back to the UK, 4 wonderful women, and Malachi keeping it there for the men. And off to do brilliant courses like toxicology, environmental science, and innovation, and these things which are really going to be committing to the future development of the Bahamas.
Malachi Reckley has been a police officer attached to the forensic science section for the past 11 years and is on his way to the University of Birmingham for his master's in toxicology. Dr. Lauren Brown is off to the same university for her master's in trauma science. After working in the accident and emergency department at the Princess Margaret Hospital, her dream is to reimagine how we handle medical services in the Family Islands.
I'd like to get into sort of helping the next generation of scientists to understand that a degree in science doesn't only mean becoming a physician or a teacher. There are other avenues for you to use a science degree.
I thought about this initiative called Medics on Water, and with Medics on Water, it will be boats that are well equipped, just like an air ambulance would be, a bit more extensive, and to be able to reach even the most remote corners of the island at any given time, as well as be accompanied with like speedboats and stuff.
It's often said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. With that in mind, Deputy Chief Counselor for the City of Freeport, Dr. Charlene Reed Morris, and her team donated breakfast items for students at the Jack Hayward High School on Cathedral Boulevard. The group donated noodles, napkins, and tea kettles for every classroom on the campus. Dr. Reed Morris says they would like to provide continuous support throughout the school year.
We know that they need something to keep their mind formative, to keep their focus on their education, and so we want them to have this meal.
School Principal Janice Pinder says the donation will go a long way.
We're always open to donations for the students to help them. There are a number of students who sometimes, need the extra breakfast in the morning. So we're willing to accept, the donation from Dr. Reed. We're happy about that. We're grateful for it.
And the Rotary Club of Old Fort Bay providing manpower and resources to transform the Adelaide Primary School into a smart school. The local civil organization installed outdoor fans, revamped the school's bulletin board, donated smart TVs, and a new school sign. The group had several corporate sponsors that assisted with the new gadgets. Rotary International has identified the month of September as Basic Education and Literacy Month. And Community Service Co-Chair Lincoln Deal says the project fell in line with that goal. Deal also stressing the importance of a quality education through upgrades like these.
With the implementation of these smart TVs, they're going to be able to really take their learning processes up a notch, and we're excited about this partnerships. We're excited about everyone that joined in to assist us in this initiative.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, an activist and musician is using his gift to help boost his hometown's recovery.
We're going to talk about some baseball next on Our Sports Weekend.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, I'm Tage Adderley, and we are back with Our Sports Weekend. The Major League Baseball season is winding down, and the Bahamians in New York both played against their heated division rivals last night. We're going to see what happened. Josh Chisholm and his New York Yankees and Anton Richardson and the New York Mets both picked up clutch wins on Friday night. Jazz and the Yanks won their second straight against heated division rival Boston Red Sox 5-4. Jazz went 1-for-4 with a single in the win. Mark Leiter, nephew of former Mets pitcher Al Leiter, got the win on the mound. Speaking of the Mets, they got a big 11-3 win over their division rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. They brought out the big lumber, hitting 4 home runs as a team in total. Jose Quintana got the win on the mound. Now, the Yankees lead their division by 3 games, and the Mets are only up 1 game for the final slot in the NL wildcard. There aren't many games left in the season, so both teams need to make every game count. Now we're going to bring things closer to home. A couple of Bahamian triathletes are headed to Trinidad and Tobago to compete against the best in the region. Malcolm Menzies and Lonnie Duncombe are currently on the island of Tobago competing in the World Triathlon Development Regional Cup. This event was established by World Triathlon, the sport's governing body, to grow the sport by allowing athletes from developing nations to gain valuable experience in the heated competition. The goal is to benefit athletes, coaches, and even local governing bodies. 16-year-old Menzies and 17-year-old Duncombe are on Tobago with coaches Dorian Roach and Jorge Marcos, and they're going against the best from the Caribbean region. Now, both Duncombe and Menzies competed earlier today. We'll have their results on tomorrow's newscast. That is a wrap for sports on this Saturday evening for Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tage Adderley.
Thanks, Tage. When we come back from the break, are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, Soulful Sundays are back with a fresh lineup. The details when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. A rainy Saturday in the capital, but meteorologists expect it will gradually clear up tonight. Ian McKenzie joins us now with what you can expect. Ian.
Thanks, Bertha, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios under partly cloudy skies after a pretty rainy day, 84 degrees. Feels like temperature at 92. Our winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Temperatures across the country at this time in our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 86, 84 in Allenstown, the capital, Great Harbor Key, 83 in Marsh Harbor, and 85 in Governor's Harbor, 86 in Nicholstown, Andros. The Central Bahamas continue with those 85s in Camps Bay, Georgetown, Deadman's Key, and in Coburn Town, San Salvador, 81 in Arthurstown, Kidd Island. The Southeast Bahamas, 86 in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, 87 in Matthewtown, a pair of 85s in Colonel Hill and Abrahams Bay, Miaguana, 89 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Taking a look now at our satellite imagery where we have a stall out frontal boundary just north of us providing us with some moisture. We do have a mid to upper level trough that is enhancing shower and thunderstorm activity across the northwest Bahamas. Weak high pressure dominating elsewhere. Taking a look now at the tropics, where we have Tropical Storm Gordon. No threat to the Bahamas or any land at this time. There's also an area being watched just to the southeast of the Carolinas. This area is expected to become subtropical or tropical, develop and dump some level of shower and wind across that area through midweek. Here now is a closer look at this area where we expect to see increasing winds, so this should supply some swells, rough surf conditions, as well as rainy conditions across this area. Boating forecast, weak surface pressure across us producing light and variable winds, less than 10 knots, seas 3 feet or less, low tide at 11:50, 6 p.m., high tide at 5:49 a.m. tomorrow morning. In your extended forecast, prepare accordingly. Expect pretty much a rainy week with heavier showers and thunderstorms across our area on Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs only getting up into the low 90s this week, with your lows getting up into the upper 70s, low 80s. That's your wrap in your evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, a local musician is using his talent to raise awareness and foster positivity in Grand Bahama's recovering economy. In this report, he explains to our Talia Hall why he has chosen to focus his efforts on this cause.
You may have seen him at several businesses on Grand Bahama recently singing. Well, the name behind the voice is Javan Hunt, a Grand Bahamian musician and environmentalist who's now using his talent to give back to his community while highlighting the environmental needs in the community. He told me why he's decided to take this route.
The goal is to just be as community-minded as possible and connect businesses and the environment and music, because we're all, we all need each other.
And he says this month is significant as it's being observed as International Coastal Cleanup Awareness Month, making his performances even more impactful.
Frequently, we go to the beaches and we see a lot of garbage that's been left by persons patronizing the beach.
We caught up with Hunt at the De Gregory's, a coffee shop on the island, and he shares there are other businesses on his list for upcoming performances.
I'm currently just in talks with other businesses to possibly go there on a Saturday and do a couple songs. So hopefully, if you're all listening, reach out to me. I'll be happy to work with you. I have a great team, and we want to help. We want to build a community.
For more information, you can reach Hunt at www.javanhunt.com or Javan Hunt on social media. Reporting for our news, I'm Talia Hall.
Thanks, Natalia. Well, imagine being whisked away under the moonlit sky with the sea breeze on your face as you indulge in the sounds of the best in rhythm and blues. You can do just that this weekend at Soulful Sundays, Volume 2 at the Amphitheater located at the Nassau Cruise Port. Hosted by Rika C., the event's performers are the illustrious Essence Band, the Black Swan Band, and Donnie and Zavi.
We're going to bring the 90s R&B. If you want to hear from Drew Hill, Tevin Campbell, Monica, Usher, we're going to bring all of those vibes. I know a lot of persons are interested and love to hear those 90s R&B tunes. We're going to give them to you.
Assistant Events Manager Aisha Roll tells us the team curated this cozy event to give the public a mature concert experience with various ticket options for all.
We have introduced the VIP for the Volume 2. We are sponsored by Bristol Wine and Spirits. So we have a champagne table option as well as a wine table option. Tickets are available at bahamasettickets.com. We also have VIP solo tickets for those that, don't have a group to purchase a table, or just for those that don't drink wine and or champagne. We do have those individual ticket options. General admission is also available. It is $25 in advance and $30 at the gate. Everyone knows when you come to Nassau Cruise Port, your blanket and chairs are welcome. General seating is limited, so first come, first serve.
The show is scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. For more information, you can visit the Nassau Cruise Port social media pages. Well, that does it for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. Have a great weekend, everyone.